Attention, duelists!
It's MoSSkull.
Alright, we are in the finals of the King of Games tournament. MoSSkull versus Cypress. Alright. Both players are top applicants in this meta game. Cypress is our top player overall, and MoSSkull only a point behind in terms of overall player skill. These two have been neck and neck since, of course, the game. Cypress leading with a sentry. We fortunately will not be able to know what card he pulls, but this should disrupt MoSSkull's early plays. Cypress did not begin with a draw spell, so it's arguable that he does not have one in his hand. He's taking his time looking at MoSSkull's hand. He must have a lot of good cards in there that he's not sure about which one to take. Odds are he's got quite a few power cards, perhaps a Cyber Jar, a Delinquent Duo perhaps. Change of Heart, it seems. MoSSkull has shown it to us. It's a change of heart. I wonder if he did that on purpose so that we could see. And just a T-set pass by Cypress afterwards. I wonder if Cypress got rid of that change of heart because he played a Magician of Faith. There's a witch. And he's going in for the battle. Let's see if that's a... It is a Magician of Faith, yes. He got rid of that change of heart just so we could get the second hand rip with the Forceful Sentry. MoSSkull knows he has the sentry, though. Will he be setting some of his spells? Just one. Not as much time taking this time around. We did not get to see what that card was this time, but MoSSkull is in a very big disadvantage in terms of card value. Cypress is trading 1-for-1 values right now. It'll be funny if that's another Magician of Faith that Cypress has set. These sentries are not not permanent destruction at the moment, though. The cards that Cypress puts away will be drawn eventually. And there's a Cyber Jar flip. That's a powerful play. Only one of these witches will be able to grab a card as well. That's the downside of playing multiples at once. And Cypress gets only a Sangan to drop in the field, but a Pot of Greed and Goblin and Trap Hole in hand. Meanwhile, MoSSkull gets only a Mystic Tomato, but a Change of Heart and a MST and a Dark Hole in hand. Additionally, Cypress gets a Raigeki, and Moss has an Upstart Goblin of their own. And we are in the middle of MoSSkull's battle phase, so he can run over that Sangan with that Mystic Tomato. Alright, Upstart Goblin to begin the play. MoSSkull deciding not to attack the Sangan with the tomato. I wonder what his plan there is. Yes, Cypress reminding MoSSkull that he only gets one of the witch effects because they are limited to a hard once per turn at this moment. And he grabs a magician, a white magical hat. Moss ends his turn with a 2-card set and a full stack hand. Cypress will be drawing a lot more cards. He has the Upstart Goblin and a Pot of Greed. There's the pot. Cypress not sure what to play. Going for the Heavy Storm. That's an interesting thing. Oh, getting rid of Moss's own Heavy Storm and a Trap Hole. Cypress sacrificing a Solemn Judgment to get rid of that Trap Hole. I'm curious why MoSSkull did not use that Heavy Storm earlier. But Cypress is going for the 7-colored fish. Causing the tomato to float. Will likely be floating into a Sangan or Witch, though he could also be going for a tomato to thin the deck out. We do know that that is a Sangan face down. Likely why Cypress didn't flip it face up to be aggressive here. Yep. MoSSkull dropping his own Sangan on the field. Now, it is public knowledge, Cypress does have a trap hole that he drew off that Cyber Jar, so this could be that, or Cypress could be bluffing. But we did see that one of the cards Cypress popped was a Heavy Storm, so there's likely not a reason to bluff a back row at the moment. Ooh, but there is the MST. We did know about that too. And it was a Wabaku. It was a bluff. Bluffing that trap hole and instead using a Wabaku. Moss taking his time. He can't engage in battle, so he's got to play defensively on this turn. Likely will be changing that Sangan to defense position. Or he could, because he's not going to be able to run over the opponent's Sangan either. Monsters cannot be destroyed by battle or take effect damage, or take any damage at all, so... Setting one card and changing the Sangan to defense. It looks like Cypress is going on the aggressive. Mirror Force! Oh, that is a flip! That will trigger the Sangan, but it will leave Cypress completely open. He has not used his normal summon for this turn though, so he grabs a white magical hat. Setting 2. Setting 3 and passing. Wonder if that's the white magical hat or not. It was another Sangan. Okay. A lot of Sangan use is being used here. 2 Sangens for Cypress, a Sangen and 2 Witches for Moss. A lot of searchers, and that Sangen grabbing another witch. Churning through all of these searchers. We're eventually going to run out, though. Moss grabbing a Magician of Faith. It's been a while since that Cyberjar. I don't remember many of the cards Cypress grabbed. You definitely don't want to have a run that into a magician into a Change of Heart. But a Mystic Tomato being popped with a Trap Hole. That was the Trap Hole we saw earlier that he bluffed having with the Babaku. There's the White Magical Hat. No back row to stop this. I wonder if Moss has the Electric Snake to counter this like we saw Venom King had last game. Ooh, there's a Change of Heart. A La Jin over the White Magical Hat, and it does not look like there's a trap hole. So we are just going to run it over. There's the damage, and there goes the hat. One set, and pass. These are tense times right now. Now, both players are very high in life. There's the Raigeki, though. Being countered by a Magic Drainer, discarding a Summoned Skull. Cypress really wants to preserve this monster. It must be a flip effect. And MoSSkull negating the Magic Jammer with a Solemn Judgment. Seems MoSSkull did not count properly on his half-life points. Went a little overkill there. Yeah, Cypress definitely would have been able to get a lot of value out of that Magician of Faith if it had flipped. But now he's going for 2,800 damage and getting a card out of his hand. Two Summoned Skulls out of Cypress's hand. No Monster Reborns, though, that have been used. There's a Raigeki. Both players have used one Raigeki so far, one of their limited 2. Moss is low on life after that Solemn Judgment, though. And a set and pass. Moss is playing very defensive at the moment. Does not have... There's a second Raigeki. Chaining these Raigekis. A Wall of Illusion. That is an interesting tech choice. 2,100 of damage. And ripping a card. It definitely looks like it's Cypress's win here. Getting rid of the Magician of Faith. Oh, that is that nasty. Does Moss have a wrath? And that's game. Or does Moss have a monster reborn that he's checking the graveyard for? He has not admitted defeat at all. He's taking his time here. He must have something. He can't just have a wrath here, because if that witch will float into something that Cypress can summon. So he has to have a monster reborn of some kind. Why is he taking his time? There are 2 summoned skulls in the graveyard and a Mystic Tomato to, if he wants to have some card advantage there. So what is he waiting for? There's the monster reborn. And what is he grabbing? Alright. Runs into that white magical hat. If Cypress has any other monster to summon, though, this is his win. And yep, that's game right there.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Abs. AbsoluteZero is now joining us to co-host this game.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, buddy.
Were you waiting for side decking to come in?
Yeah, I just thought it would be intrusive to just come in all of a sudden during game 1.
That was very polite of you. But, so, what are your thoughts on game 1?
It was very explosive. Back to back, seeing them wiping each other's fields back and forth, and seeing that chain link, seeing that chain of spells from Raigeki to Magic Jammer and Solemn Judgment was just intense.
Alright, we are on to game 2 now. Now starts with an upstart.
First is gonna draw for turn. It's a card.
T-set pass versus T-set pass. Both players are playing very defensively at the moment. If either of these is a flip monster, things can progress a lot faster.
Indeed, if one of those monsters is a Magician of Faith.
Well, I doubt Cypress would play a Magician of Faith with no spells in their graveyard. An Upstart Goblin is not really the best target for Magician of Faith, but it's better than nothing. It turns the Magician of Faith into a Skelangel.
That witch is gonna trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Cypress Search.
Will he be grabbing a tribute, or will he just be grabbing a... Going for a 7-colored fish, not a tribute monster, so he does not think he can make the play. That, or he's worried that the trap hold down there and he doesn't want to commit a tribute summon in front of it. But both players had a very similar start, both playing floaters as their opening start. No aggressive flip monsters to play at the beginning. Seems neither of them have really started with their powerful spells.
Cypress staying on the defensive here.
Very passive plays here on both sides. Another few cards being set by Cypress. MST, Moss is playing aggressive here. Alright, got rid of that trap hole. And just running into battle. He's...
Wall of Illusion.
Alright, that's a good wall right there. Moss takes the damage and the tomato goes to hand. He did not summon a monster. I believe Moss is scared that there might be 2 trap holes there. That, or he was worried there was a mirror force and he didn't want to run 3 attack position monsters in front of it.
Yes, that mirror force, if that was a mirror force, that could set him back quite a bit.
Are running Wall of Illusion. This is a card I have not seen among any of the lower tier players. Perhaps this is the sign of just their experience here. Knowing just the value of Wall of Illusion still hasn't lost its luster.
Seeing that it's an 1850 defender, it can withstand the 1800 beaters such as 7 Colored Fish and Lajin.
We still haven't gotten what is the card? The twins. We haven't gotten the twins yet, or whatever their names are in the format.
Oh, we're talking about Delinquent Duo, right?
No, the 1900 Elven twins, ladies.
Oh, that's Gemini Elf.
Gemini Elves, yes. We have not gotten Gemini Elves yet. So, Wall of Illusions is still the best blocker, really, in terms of level 4 monsters. Unless the person is running a Jirai Gumo, but surprisingly, I don't think Cypress nor Moss are running Jirai Gumo.
Dark Hole.
Yep, that Dark Hole. Similar art to the MST. I thought for a second he had just played 2 MSTs, and that was confusing.
And he's gonna get the search.
I don't think he normal summoned yet this turn. There's a white magical hat. He's not going to be able to get the trigger off of it this turn because the Wabaku did trigger. He's just activating Swords of Light. He must want to just... that white magical hat must be his only play, and he wants to protect it from battle. He's not even going to play the magical hat. Very interesting. He must be anticipating a wrath of some kind in Cypress's hand.
Another T set from Cypress.
Both players still have quite a few cards in their deck too. They haven't drawn that many cards either. Only 1 searcher off both of them. Moss did have an Upstart Goblin, but... Change of Heart. If that's a Magician of Faith, this is going to be a very impactful play.
Comes the Magic Jammer.
Pitching that Fissure. Fissure is not seeing a lot of play at this moment. But there's that Dark Hole, and that was a Magician of Faith. Very powerful Spelljammer action right there. He is committing the white magical hat this time around. I'm not sure why. still can't attack. Oh no, he can attack. We're no longer under the effect of Waboku. And Swords of Revealing
It's
Light
like
only
Moss is
stops
gonna
the...
start playing the control game now.
I'm sorry, what?
It looks like gonna start to play that hand control game now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Moss is finally able to take the aggressive play here. Gets rid of that Dark Hold.
Oh,
Cypress down to 2 cards, really, on his next turn. Neither player have used their hand destruction either. Not even going to run that white magical hat. Oh, he can't run the white magical hat over. The Swords of Revealing Light is still in play. Does Moss have another monster to... Cypress is going to be empty-handed for pretty much the rest of this game, so that white magical hat may be useless. But, no, actually, if he runs that Sangan over with the tomato, he's going to be able to rip whatever he searches with the magical hat. And Cypress knows this, so what is he going to... Oh! That's going to fog the damage immediately. No way MoSSkull's going to be running into that.
it's gonna be free real estate.
Mm-hmm. That was a clever play by Cypress. Though actually, oh, that was a misplay. Cypress would not have been able to use the effective Electric Snake. Because Sangan specifically says the effects cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with the name of the card added.
Oh, you're indeed correct.
Electric
I was not
Snake.
aware.
Electric Snake is worded weirdly because it is a very first card printed, but it is an activated effect. That was a misplay. Not reading the full text on the cards.
Heavy Storm's gonna activate. There's the Waboku.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm very curious why he didn't activate that Raigeki. That is interesting. In what universe is not destroying 2 monsters a good idea? Neither of them would even float. These aren't floaters. Perhaps Cypress is anticipating a Solemn in the back row? Ooh, change of heart. What was that set? The Electric Snake is worth more in the hand unless he just doesn't have any other monsters. Ooh, a Banisher of Light. It was the Electric Snake. He just wanted to get soak up some of that damage.
Magic hat to discard Cypress's remaining card. Snake.
Oh, and the snake has to be discarded to the graveyard to trigger. So no cards could be drawn there. That snake can run over the Banisher Flight, but all that value is being lost. Nope, that Upstart Goblin has to be banished. I hope someone could remind them, because we cannot communicate with our players down there. Yes, unfortunately, we can't alert them that upstart goblin should be banished. As should the forceful sentry. Both of those spells should be banished right now while the Banisher of Light is in the graveyard. Or Banisher of Light is on the field. However, it does not appear to be any Magician of Faiths ready to be used here. Though only one is in the graveyard. Leave me and my family alone.
Looks like Cypress has his back against the wall.
Mm-hmm. It's a...
Wall of Illusion.
Alright. That's gonna be soaking up that damage for a short bit. Things are just progressing very slowly this game, too. It doesn't look like we're going to be progressing to Game 3 anytime soon. Cypress does only have 1,800 life, though. He still has his back to the wall. Any one piece of removal is going to kill him. But that 7-colored fish is going to bring the tempo back to Cypress's side. But there's a Mirror Force to get rid of it. Oh, he remembers the card is banished this time around. Yes, they're remembering all the cards get banished. Hopefully they realize that the Electric Snake, Sentry, and Upstart Goblin should be banished as well. Moss delegating not to summon the Mystic Tomato. Wish we knew how to communicate with our players.
Thinking about it, it would be quite problematic if either player used Monster Reborn on any of those banished monsters.
Well, Monster Reborn at the moment would only hit Electric Snake. The problem is if Cypress has because he still has 2 Magician of Faiths in his deck. If he sets any of them and they flip it, he grabs either that Upstart Goblin or that Forceful Sentry. That's an illegal play.
Both players are aware of the game state right now.
That's another spell going to the graveyard. I'm going to be sending them an alert if they'll see it. I don't know if they'll see it or not. Hopefully Cypress sees the alert that I sent him. Okay, yes, Cypress sees that I alerted him.
And the Dark Hole from Cypress is gonna wipe the board.
The Wall of Illusion will go to the graveyard because Banisher of Light will be in the graveyard at the same time. However, that Snake, Sentry, and Goblin still need to go get banished. Alright, Cypress has got my message. You're welcome, Moss. Heavy Storm hitting a giant Trunade. Not the best plays right there.
Cypress is back in the game, but looks like Moss still has the life lead over him.
And the card advantage. He's still got a full grip of cards. Oh, but there's a Magician of Faith. Oh, grabbing a Cyber Jar. That's going to give him the card advantage he needs. Setting the Cyber Jar. Let's see if Moss has a response to it, or if he's just going to let it go. A Last Will. Oh, he's anticipating the Mystic Tomato being destroyed. So he's triggering the Last Will, which will cause a state-based action to be lingering on the field. The next time Mystic Tomato is destroyed, he will be able to get the Last Will trigger, giving him 2 summons in addition to the Cyber Jar. And he will be getting a La Jin onto the battlefield as well. So Moss is getting a huge board regardless of the situation. And while it seems Cypress only got a Magician of Faith and a Sangan in terms of monsters. He's bringing the... Okay, yes, he's setting the monsters down, face down, okay. Monster Reborn.
Cypress gonna get a assortment of spells and traps.
That's quite a few background. And now Moss gets 2 triggers. I believe Moss is forgetting his own triggers just there. Moss needs to resolve that. These are our best players. We want them playing at their best right now. Moss is thinking. I hope he's thinking about those triggers that he's missing.
Indeed, these triggers could be game-changing.
Though those monsters would go to the graveyard considering he resolved that dark hole. Okay, he is aware of the Last Will.
Moss may have something up his sleeve.
Moss does have a Change of Heart and Monster Reborn in his hand. Wait a minute, I'm going to read how, Last Will. If a monster on your side of the field was sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 monster or once during your turn. Wait a minute. The condition of Last Will does not actually specify when you need to summon it, does it?
If a monster on your side of the field was sent to the graveyard this turn, you can special summon 1 monster with an attack of 1500 points or less from your deck once during this turn. Then shuffle your deck.
Yeah, he can just summon it after the Dark Hole resolves.
Yes, indeed, it is a lingering effect.
That I am so glad they banned this card. I don't even care if for combo shenanigans. This is just one of the most complicated cards to play around. Just gives you just an instant speed, summon any monster when you need it. Double Monster Reborn with Summon Skull and a white magical app. Cypress certainly has the advantage going on here.
We see a comeback here.
Uh-huh.
Let's see what card gets discarded here.
Judgman, probably the least valuable target out of his hand. MoSSkull is running Judgman, though. That is an interesting card. Saw Venom King also running this card. This is just... I don't know.
Monster reborn of his own.
Mm-hmm. Is he... Oh, but it's being negated by his Judgment. Yeah, he's targeting the Judge-Man. Very curious why he would want the Judge-Man. I guess just because it can overrun even a 7-colored fish later, but nothing's going to be able to stop that Summon Skull. Oh, there's the Robin Goblin. Oh, he was going for this Judge because it would have been able to kill Cypress that round. No, it would not have been able to kill him because he would have, but he would have had a body on field to be aggressive in that situation, taking only 800, or in this case 1700 versus, no, huh? You have 1700 versus 1200, but I don't know. Cypress literally down to
MoSSkull had
100 life points. This is literally backs to the wall position right here.
If MoSSkull had decided to play the Sparks in his main deck, this could have been it.
Yes, the ever-present Sparks FTK. Spelljammer on the Potagreed. I wonder why he was thinking so hard on that. Cypress is very far behind.
Both players running low on cards. Yes.
Oh, just a set monster. How many Wraths has Moss used? All 3 Dark Holes, but none of his Raigekis. And he's down to a fourth of his deck. Magician of Faith. I keep getting their names mixed up because they're both magic women, ladies. Grabbing the mechanical... Grabbing the mechanical chaser, Cypress did tell me that this was his ace card to be able to take down MoSSkull, having that little extra 50 points of attack to be able to run over 7-colored fish. He was so desperate to get this card, he traded me a confiscation for it. Really valuing that 1850 beater body. Oh, pulling the win. Oh no, getting the solemn. Doing the math on that solemn payment. However, if that isn't a man-eater bug, Moss is still dead. It's a Cyber Jar. Oh, he is going for the kill there. Cypress is going to draw all of the cards in his deck. Now the question though is, we are in Cypress's battle phase. Okay, MoSSkull was able to get a monster. But, oh, Cypress gets 2 monsters. That 7-colored fish is going to be able to trade with Moss's, and then he'll be able to swing with the Sangan. This is probably one of the literal closest matches we've ever seen. Cypress down to 0 cards in his deck.
If he does trigger the Sangan, he won't be able to get a search.
No, but he just needs to ram the 7-colored fish into the fish. Oh, no. Moss is down to a 750 life points.
Upstart Goblin.
Oh, he's just committed suicide. Well, he was gonna die there, yeah. He could not clean the win. He was 200 points off from taking that kill.
I did not expect this game to be so close.
Oh man, Cyber Jar with 5 cards in your deck. Players are taking their time sideboarding. I don't know what you would side in after that match. The biggest upset is you can't just add cards to your deck. Like, the real big annoying thing is, I've always felt that you should just be able to add or remove cards to purposely thin or pack your deck depending on the matchup. We have progressed to nearly an hour of footage right now. Just normal summon attack with a witch. This is honestly one of the better ways to get in that early bits of damage, because no one wants to waste a trap hole on a witch. Especially when you're behind and taking that kind of damage. Alright, Cypress is able to get a monster, but he didn't have one last turn. But no monsters, but he doesn't want to play his spells. He must be full of removal that he just doesn't want to use on a witch.
Now, is this a Magician of Fate? Because if it is, that change of heart would be real state. Oh, never mind.
Just a Wall of Illusion. That's still a good pick to grab. Moss is taking the damage, or inflicting the damage. Oh, on damage calculation, he's got a double. Okay. Oh, negating the Wabaku. He really wants that Robin Goblin damage to resolve. Hitting 2 cards out of Cypress's hand. Getting the Magician of Faith. And a 7-colored fish. Oh, it looks like it's Moss's win already.
Yes, indeed. Things don't look very good for Cypress here.
Moss is thinking, what could he be wanting to follow this up with? Is he worried about hand destruction? Because Cypress has gone through 2 whole turns now without using it. He does have at least 1 delinquent duo I'm aware of. Just hands the Wall of Illusion back. Maybe he was thinking of tribute summoning this wall or not. But no, that would have been a no-brainer to do that. Oh, Cypress has another 7-color fish. I'm very curious why Cypress has not been playing these fish. Beforehand, he couldn't have had just... Is he just top-decking these fishes all right now? What is Moss grabbing? Grabs the Judge Man, not the Summoned Skull. Interesting. I'm not sure why, unless he has the Summoned Skull in hand. But why not? Why did he not just tribute the wall for the skull when he change of heart? Perhaps he was worried there was a trap hole there and he didn't want to risk not being able to get the discard. But then why not just tribute the Wall of Illusion afterwards? Why give him that body?
Perhaps he's worried that Cypress may have removal in his hand.
Possibly. But he was just about to rip... He just ripped 2 cards out of his hand. He uses a Monster Reborn just to summon a Witch of the Black Forest. Using... Oh, he's tribute summoning it for that Judge Man. Is there a trap hole? Nope, no trap hole. Grabbing the Mystic Tomato there, and appears we have an Eldritch Entity appearing in our chat. Getting rid of that last card in hand. What could Cypress have in those back row? Alright, one is the fissure.
Must have a counter attack? It's not.
He took his time before letting it resolve, so perhaps he was just thinking about it. But, I don't know. Just setting another card and passing. Until Moss can run into a Raigeki, that wall is just gonna stay there. Alright, he's just gonna try and hard draw into that Raigeki. Moss is low on life points, 3,300. That's not a lot. This Wall of Illusion could kill him in 4 turns. It seems like that's close to happening. Oh, Magic Jammer negating the Raigeki. Discarding the Cyber Jar. What could he have in there? Oh, yeah, Cypress has to want to know what that is now. was it? It's a Magician of Faith. Oh, grabbing that Raigeki back to try to take that clean kill. He can't attack while that Swords of Revealing Light is out. But now Moss knows he cannot commit any real plays. No more Magician of Faiths, no more Cyber Jars. Honestly, I wouldn't even play the Magician of... play another monster, really, for now. You have time with the Swords of Revealing Light soaking up a few turns. Yep, getting that +1 off the Raigeki. We'll get a search off the Sangan. What could he want? Probably one of the best answers to getting rid of that Wall of Illusion.
Have expired.
Yep, the swords have expired. There's the tomato. Solemn Judgment negating the summon of the tomato. Cypress going to 22 though. There's the man-eater bug. Swinging for 450 damage. And getting that Robin Goblin trigger. Getting the Electric Snake trigger.
This match has been so back and forth, it could be anyone's game.
Yeah, both players are at a relatively low life total. Moss is only at 3,300. A few lucky comebacks and Cypress can take the win here. Let's count the... Moss has not used any trap holes yet, so that face down could very well be a trap hole. And an Electric Snake into Pot of Greed. Cypress is churning the card advantage here. Seven-colored fish. There was no trap hole to negate it. Coming in for 1350 damage. This is looking like Cypress's win if Moss does not have a counterplay. Cypress just dug through so much of his deck to find an answer. Ironically, he needed an answer to a 450 little bug. Forceful Sentry, looking at his hand. Magician of Faith on top of in his hand. Why didn't he set that? Is he anticipating another change of heart? Well, he has only used one change at the moment. There is one more, because change of heart is semi-limited at this point. Yes, there's so much pressure here at this moment. Players taking in some playful banter. I never quite liked the art on Electric Snake. It just didn't seem as good a quality of work as the rest. Sets another back row and passes. Who do you think has the higher chance of winning here? Zero? Appears my co-host has muted himself. He may be busy. I'm not sure. If Cypress grabs the mechanical chaser, just goes in using the MoSSkull just to try to kill that wall evolution, and it does not work. MoSSkull being hit with a mirror force of all things. If Moss has any monster, he could be able to pull that win out of his behind. He does have a monster, but he elects not to summon it in attack position, fearing Cypress has a trap hole. And it's very well good that fear. Cypress has not used any trap holes yet. No mirror force to negate that wall illusion. Getting the 7-colored fish, but not the mechanical chaser. It's worrisome. Summons the mechanical chaser. Is there a trap hole in response? Moss did not have a trap hole. Runs into that wall illusion. This could be a downside, because that mechanical chaser still has to go to hand. If Cypress has another Wabaku, this could be what he's planning, but who knows? A Magician of Faith flip. Oof. He can grab Monster Reborn and just take any powerful card out of the graveyard. There are plenty of powerful cards right now. Electing to grab the Swords of Revealing Lights. Moss is trying to just... Moss is just trying to pillow fort and use that Robin Goblin trigger, getting rid of the Summoned Skull. And now just hiding behind the swords. Moss must have known that if he did not grab the Swords of Revealing Light, the... Now I'm curious. I wonder if Cypress would have had an answer for the Monster Reborn. There's the Mechanical Chaser. And no trap hole to negate it. So yeah, he needed that swords to block it, but I wonder if he could have gone for the kill there if he had used Monster Reborn instead. There's the Monster Reborn. Hard drawing it. What is he grabbing? Moss grabs the skull. Loss here to just go in and attack. The only options are a Wabaku. There's the Wabaku. Players are just one card per turn. These are just taking forever. Match has officially gone on for an hour and 11 minutes. Summoning, using the Monster Reborn, playing those cards. Cypress is just trying to build a wall. But every wall seems to fall down to a Raigeki. Did Moss draw one? How many has he used? He has used no Raigekis this game yet so far. No Raigekis and no Dark Holes, but he wouldn't be able to take advantage of the wind otherwise with a Dark Hole. This final match, this is taking quite a while to complete. If we have to go to a game 3, I might have to ask for a water break. Just setting and passing, setting and passing. The swords is gone, though. So we can finally get back to trading bodies on the field. Alright, there's the witch. Grabbing a cyber jar. Perhaps Cypress is trying to finish this game as fast as he can. And now it's Cypress's turn. So if Moss has not been looking like he's drawn into those rafts, so it looks like Cypress is clear the way to just play that cyber. Drawing the Dark Hole as well. A Sangan as well. It looks like this is it for Moss. Yes, drawing the Witch of the Black Forest, being able to just normal summon the Witch and go in for game. Alright, Cypress wins the match. But, well, that was certainly an expression of what just this format is about. That is it for this season finale tournament, or this month's finale of the King of Games tournament. we will be concluding with a deck tech profile by our top player Cypress, to see how his deck looks and the deck tech options he used to try to win against Moss. But for now, thanks for watching.